Good afternoon, it's Midcap Radar time. I am Hormas Patakia. With me is Mangalam Malu. The Nifty is exactly where it is. We left the studios at 1 p.m. So there's no change, but the bulls are fighting to hold on to the very little recovery that we have managed to see post the sell-off that we saw yesterday. Mangalam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hormas. That's exactly what's taking place right now. Maybe a bit of a snooze in the afternoon for the market before we resume, action in the last hour of trade so far. Holding with gains of almost 75 points. The Nifty is now down a good 120 points from the highs of today's trading session. So let's get you all the top stories that we're tracking this afternoon. The market rebounds after a 4-day losing streak. Midcaps stage a 1,000-point recovery, now up almost 940 points. We also see gains coming in for most of the stocks, whereas there is some pressure in the Nifty Midcap 100.
JSW Energy gains on winning the bid under an IBC process to acquire the 3.6 gigawatt KSK Mahanadi thermal power plant. The resolution is also a positive for large lenders to the ailing utility, including PFC and REC. Shares of both are up in today's session.
Biocon surges after brokerage firm HSBC upgrades its stock to buy amid expectations of a turnaround for the drug maker. HSBC also raises target price on the stock by to nearly half, to about 430.
BSE climbs over 3.5% after brokerage firm Jefferies upgrades the stock to hold and raises the price target to 52.50 on expectations on improving quality of premiums. The stock, though, is already above that target price.
Metal stocks rebound after a sharp correction. Softer dollar is an additional tailwind. However, alumina prices continue to slide on excess supply.
Well, just as we mentioned, the Nifty is still where it was, still managing to hold on to gains of about 80 points. It is off the highs of the day, but still managing to fight that 23,150 mark on the downside so far. The broader markets continuing to recover. The Nifty Midcap Index lost 4% yesterday, is gained about 2% today, so it's recovered almost half of what it had lost in yesterday's trading session. And a similar trajectory for the Small Cap Index as well, was up around 1.75% just a few minutes ago, and that too had lost 4% yesterday. That too is slightly off the highs of the day, but still holding on to gains of 1.5%. The Adani Group companies, though, are the ones that are leading the charge today, almost 15% higher for Adani Power, 11% each for Adani Energy and Green Energy as well. But there are plenty of other movers in the broader markets today, and Vamakshi is here to highlight just that. Vamakshi, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, Hormas. Yes, much needed respite for the markets, right? Let's first look at some of the stocks that are gaining momentum in trade today. First up is Piramal Enterprises. That stock is seeing a surge of almost 7.82% after the company announced that they will be receiving deferred payment from its unit. Minda Corp is another counter. Again, there's a news flow out there. Stock is up nearly 6.5%. Biocon continues to gain in trade, up nearly 6.6% today, and Mascow Dock as well, up nearly 8% in trade today. Apart from that, metal stocks are some of the counters that are buzzing in trade today. NMDC is seeing an uptick of almost 5%. SAIL, Jindal Stainless as well as NALCO are some of the other counters that are gaining momentum in trade today. But apart from that, a lot of stocks gaining on the back of strong volumes as well, and that includes Inox Wind. That stock is seeing an uptick of nearly 4%. All of these other counters, Electra, Green Tech, Tejas Networks as well as BSE are surging in trade. Keep in mind that BSE is also surging on the back of an upgrade that has come in from Jefferies. Apart from that, there are stocks that are reacting to their numbers. Angel One and Anand Rathi as well as Delta Corp reported a dismal set of numbers. Resultantly, we're seeing a fall in all of these counters. Lastly, let's focus in on some of the stocks that are losing in trade. These are some of the stocks that are bucking the trend. KFIN is seeing a downtick of almost 6%. ITI, Sham Metallics as well as Signature Global all of these are down nearly 3% in trade today.
Take that point, Vamakshi. Thanks a lot for that. We're also seeing some traction in a lot of these pharmaceutical names. Divi's Lab currently, for instance, up at the high point of trade with a 4% uptick. Sun Pharma is picking up pace as well. So the pharmaceutical index actually comes up for you. That tells you the entire story of the sector, which is currently at the high point of trade. And alongside that, we have a bunch of others in the broader markets as well. Keynote is one of them, which is up about 10%, locked in that temporary upper circuit. And at the high point in trade are REC and PFC as well, understandably on account of a resolution of the deal for Mahanadi project from JSW Energy. And, the lenders to that project also benefiting from that. Good time to get in Shrikant Chauhan of Kotak Securities for a quick technical check on the market. Shrikant, there has been a recovery. I mean, it's from oversold levels, but it's not really sustaining, or it's not like up and away. It's just up as of now. Where do we go from here?
Good afternoon, Mangalam. Yeah, unfortunately, when the market was recovering, it failed at 23,265, 263, which was its previous lowest level for the market. I'm to say yesterday the market has broken that level, but it was like consolidating above this level for almost 2 months. And this particular lowest level the market has made in the month of November 21st, something. So this time it was like the failing at 23,263, 265 is something which is again negative for the market. And even if we see the overall trend of the market, then it is forming lower top and lower bottom sort of series. But the way it has fallen since last 4-5 days, I think it is consolidating, and we may see some rebound, but I'm not expecting market to sustain at higher levels. So for the day, today's lowest level, that is 23,140, 130 is going to act as major support. And in case if we see the market is dropping below the same, then we could see further more weakness. Otherwise, there may be the possibility of some more relief in the near term.
Shrikant, good afternoon. Thank you for joining in. So what are the specific stocks that you're recommending this afternoon?
Yeah, good afternoon, Harmas. I think, see, all these pharma companies, they are doing well. They are recovering from their lows. And most of these stocks are still into uptrend. Even when the market was falling, these stocks were like above their important support levels. And broadly, if we go through with stocks like Biocon or maybe DV's Apollo Hospital, I think in that Biocon looks really good. It's not only because it is quoting at its high, but if we see the entire pattern of the stock, then it is forming some rounding bottom sort of formation. And I think now the volumes are drying. So we could see trending up move in the near term. It is currently at 390. We are expecting stock to move towards 440, 450 sort of levels. So it's a buy at current levels. And if there is any trading position, then one can keep stop loss around 370. But it's a positional buy with a target of 450. The other stock which we like is Chola Finance. And if we see all these finance companies, NBFCs especially, they are doing relatively better than the banks. They are recovering whenever there is a recovery in the market. So Chola Finance looks good at current levels, around 1267, 1270. We are expecting stock to move towards 1350, 1375 levels in next maybe few days or weeks. It will take some time, but it's a buy at current level. And again, for trading position, one can keep stop loss at 1240.
Right. You know, Shrikant, the indices being where they are, the broader markets are the ones that have seen a significant correction, right? 7, 8, 10% in just a matter of 6 to 7 sessions. Do you think that with such oversold setups, the mid-cap and the small-cap indices are due for a bigger bounce compared to the Nifty? Or would you ask your clients to utilize the rebound in the broader markets too to reduce their positions?
See, like after breaking the levels of 23,250, we are expecting further more pain for mid-cap and small-cap companies, because now the trend of this mid-cap and small-cap companies have turned down very clearly. They were like holding with the sentiment only, because the market was not breaking the level of its previous low. But now after this dismissal of the psychological level of 23,200, we could see further more pain. And we are advising our clients to reduce position if there is any rebound in the market.
All right. Are you looking at any shorting opportunities, or you think that we're not in the phase where you can make more money after shorting after a 900-point decline on the Nifty?
Yeah, I think, see, Mangalam, there are like several stocks which are like trading below their important support levels. And because they are like oversold in the near term, if there is any rebound, then we should look for creating some short positions. But stocks like Dixon Technologies or maybe Trend, they are showing a very clear-cut weakness, and we could see further more pain in these stocks. Like Trend, which is currently around 6,200, 6,300 levels. There we are expecting a stock to fall towards maybe 5,500 sort of levels in next maybe few days or weeks. It will take some time, but gradually we are expecting stock to correct further in the near term. We also feel that Dixon Technologies, Sambar Enterprises sort of stocks can fall from here. DMart, which is currently trading around some 3,500 levels, there also we could see further more pain, maybe up to 3,000 sort of levels.
All right, those are interesting levels that you're talking about. 5,500 on Trent, DMart going to almost 3,300 odd. We'll keep an eye out on that. With that, thank you, Shrikant, for joining in and putting some perspective. Let's get you Growth Code, a special initiative by Grow and CNBC-TV18. This empowers retail investors and traders. Renowned investors and professional traders convened at the Grow's Trading Right event on November 9th. They shared valuable insights there. Here's a snippet of what Aditya Pachwaria, who's the co-founder Fintoric Capital, had to say about the risks of trading penny options. Listen in.
पेनी ऑप्शंस का जो प्रोबेबिलिटी होता है जीतने का वो बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, 99% से ज़्यादा प्रोबेबिलिटी होता है उसके जीतने का। बट इसके साथ उसके इतने सारे नेगेटिव्स आते हैं कि उसमें जो सबसे पहला है कि उसका रिवॉर्ड बहुत कम है, आपको मिल सिर्फ 1 रुपये रहा है। अगर आप यही काम 100 रुपये वाला ऑप्शन बेच के करोगे और फिर वहाँ पे आप रखते हो कि मैं 10 रुपये का टारगेट रखता हूँ, तो वहाँ आपका विन रेशियो भले ही कम हो जाता है बट आपका साइज 10x है। दूसरा कि अगर आप पेनी ऑप्शंस देखो, आप कहते हो कि मैं तो 1 रुपये के 2 रुपये में ही काट देता हूँ, तो अगर आप उस ऑप्शन को देखोगे उसका नेचर भी थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट होता है। तो जैसे 1 रुपये का ऑप्शन है, मार्केट ऊपर जा रहा है, आपने पुट राइट करी है, मार्केट ऊपर जा रहा है, वो फिर भी वो 2 रुपये हो जाएगा। अननेसेसरी हो सकता है, कोई ऊपर जा रहा हो तो कोई उस हेजिस को खरीद रहा हो तो आपका वहाँ पे एसएल हो जाएगा। तो जब आप उसको 1:2 देखते हो, उसकी जो प्रोबेबिलिटी है 1:2 होने की वो बहुत ज़्यादा हाई है कंपेयर टू 100 रुपये का ऑप्शन बेचते हो उसके 200 रुपये की होने की। तो इस तरह से आपका वहाँ पे जो प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ विन है वो भी कम हो जाता है।
Mazagaon Dock is picking up pace right now. Mazagaon Dock is actually up around 8.5%. Remember, it's still corrected a fair bit from its highs, down almost 25%, so making a bit of a recovery out there. The stock which is not making any recovery is United Spirits, despirited after Hina Nagarajan's decision to not continue as the MD CEO in the India vertical, but move on for other moves in or other positions in the global front of Diageo itself. Let's talk about JSW Energy. That's the one which is doing extremely well after it's won the bid to acquire KSK Mahanadi Power Plant. Sudarshan joins in with more details. Sudarshan, there is some respite coming in, not just on JSW Energy, but the lenders to it, PFC, REC, both of them at the high point as well.
That's true. That's the reason all the three stocks are high in today's trade, because JSW Energy has announced that it has received letter of intent to acquire KSK Mahanadi Power under insolvency resolution process, and the bid amount that company had mentioned was around rupees 16,000 crore. It was exactly rupees 15,985 crore. But the deal completion would be subject to the regulatory approvals, two approvals that JSW Energy would require out of NCLT and CCI. But why it's positive for JSW Energy? Currently, KSK Mahanadi Power owns 3,600 megawatt of thermal power capacity, of which first 1,800 megawatt capacity is under operation and second 1,800 megawatt capacity is under construction. And company believes that post this deal, its thermal generation capacity will increase to 7.5 gigawatt and will help achieve company's total generation capacity of 20 gigawatt much before its target of 2030. But apart from JSW Energy, it's positive for two main creditors, and those are PFC and REC. Why? Before August 2024, total dues of KSK Mahanadi Power was of around 32,243 crore, of which after NCLT order in August 2024, company made the payment of around rupees 6,200 crore, and post this total dues outstanding were of rupees 26,000 crore, of which PFC's amount admitted was of more than rupees 3,400 crore, and of REC's it's around 2,700 crore. So now brokerages believe that once the deal is completed, both PFC and REC will be getting the amount, and that's the reason you are seeing big move in all these three names.
Indeed, both of them have also declined almost a third from their peaks. So Sudarshan, stay on, because MGL is also something that you are tracking after that Morgan Stanley note. Tell us more on that.
So MGL is also higher in today's trade because Morgan Stanley has come out with a note mentioning that it has initiated coverage on MGL with an overweight call, and target is rupees 1,606 per share, implying an upside of almost 25% from current levels. So what does MS say? It says Mumbai is an ever-expanding city with rising travel and energy needs, with natural gas being Mumbai's fuel of nature. It goes on saying that it is both MGL and Mumbai's Tesla-like moment for gas adoption. And MGL has fifth of its gas sourcing linked to LNG, which might impact its margin. But as per Morgan Stanley, key of re-rating for MGL would be the structural growth in volume that MGL might see going forward, and that's the reason it's positive on the stock. And you can see MGL is currently higher, more than 3% today's trade.
Take that point indeed. Thank you, Sudarshan, for joining in. With that, let's talk about a stock which is under pressure, though off lows and also off highs. It's been a volatile stock after reporting its third quarter numbers. Mamakshi joins in. The stock that we are talking about on your screen is Angel One. Mamakshi.
Well, absolutely, Mangalam. The stock has declined in trade today. We are seeing a downtick of almost 17% sequentially in its revenue. The margins too have contracted by nearly 500 basis points for the company. They now stand at 39.3%, and the net profit has come in below the street expectations. Is seeing a downtick of almost 34% at 281 crores. Now, the decline in revenue is largely being led by the net broking income decline of nearly 10% sequentially, and this is mainly on account of the F&O regulations as well as some weak market sentiment seen in the cash segment as well. Net interest income saw a downtick of almost 6% sequentially, and however, it was much better than what the analysts were largely penciling in. When we look at the margins, it is the higher operating expenses that has led to the decline. We're looking at a cost to income ratio of almost 60.71% in the third quarter as compared to 55.65% in the second quarter of the, FY25. Now, apart from that, the company also held a con call, and in fact, they said that the impact from the new norms, that is true to label as well as the F&O norms, was higher than expected. They're expecting a one-time hit of almost 18 to 20% to the top line, but they do not expect any long-term impact on the lifetime value of their customer. They've also added that they will be monitoring the impact from new norms for the next 1 to 2 quarters before they decide on whether or not they have to go ahead and take a price hike or not. AMC and wealth management business, they're quite positive on that. They appear to be very bullish. They believe that they can scale up substantially as well. So overall, it's a weak set coming in from Angel One. Resultantly, the stock is down and out in trade today.
Bamakshi, thanks a lot for that. Interestingly, all these capital market linked names, those that have at or near record highs, Angel One is down 40% from its peak that was close to 4,000 rupees. Now it's trading at around about 2,300. We take a short break. More on the markets on the other side. Stay tuned.
It's been over 2 decades of tracking the global power shifts at the World Economic Forum. Starting from our first story reported 20 years ago to last year's groundbreaking coverage of the world's most important economic event. From discovering era-defining ideas to connecting you with the world's visionary thinkers and doers. From decoding blueprints for growth to driving collaboration to make a better future. We've been bringing you a wealth of information through 20 seasons. Tune in to Davos Diaries at Davos 2025, live and exclusive on India's most trusted business news platform, CNBC-TV18.
Welcome back. Now, the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present NDA 3.0's first full-year budget on the 1st of February, while India Inc. wants a higher capex allocation along with incentives to boost India's consumption appetite. We spoke to top industry leaders at the CNBC-TV18 Budget Town Hall, and here is their wish list for the Finance Minister.
Right now, the rebate starts from 7 lakhs. So I think if they can take that up to 8 lakhs, I think that will provide some relief to people. And the maximum, at least slab rates, 30% rate kicks in from, say, I think 20 lakhs of income, from 15 lakhs of income. If that can be accelerated to, 18 lakhs, 20 lakhs, and likewise, you trickle it down. And maybe you can cap it at a certain level so that people in the higher income brackets may not, of that certain level don't get that full relief. But if you provide that, I think that will provide a tremendous spurt in consumption. I think the lower and middle income people do deserve it.
Manufacturing depends much on the consumption by various sectors. And if you really look at what are the positive tailwinds which you're seeing, the tailwinds are coming basically from rural demand, which we think will pick up going forward. But if you look at the headwinds we are facing, it's basically the global uncertainty, the high real interest rate, and there are currency pressures which will be on this. So our real understanding of continuing to boost manufacturing would be to focus on policy reforms and continue to ensure the ease of doing business is further. We address that.
Welcome back. There is a correction of almost 0.5% from the highs for the Nifty. 23,150 is where we are at right now. And, the draggers aren't the banking stocks which are off highs. In fact, the Nifty Bank is still holding in the higher end of the range. The stocks which are dragging the Nifty lower are, some of these FMCG heavyweights. Reliance, the intraday chart should come up for you. Company is reporting its numbers day after tomorrow. And that's the one which is actually, at the low point and dragging the Nifty. So you pull up Reliance, there it is at the lower end of today's trading range. The FMCG heavyweight that I was talking about is ITC. So pull up the intraday chart of ITC as well. Yesterday, the shares of ITC hotels got credited in a lot of people's accounts. That's got nothing to do with the listed ITC stock right now. The ITC hotel shares list sometime before mid-Feb as per the management. So keep an eye out on that one. We also have Britannia, Nestle, both of them at the low point of trade. And finally, we have Bharti Airtel as well, which is pressurizing the Nifty. So now the Nifty is holding on just with 63 points of gains, a far distance, almost 110 points from what we saw at the high point of today.
HUL too, Mangalam, that's too down to the lowest point of the day now, 3% down on HUL. It's been a sharp fall from the opening highs that the stock had made. LTI Mindtree is another one after a few brokerage upgrades that the stock had received in the recent past. That too is trading 5% lower now. Actually, the entire mid-cap IT space after those results from HCL Tech is bearing the brunt in today's session. It has stocks like Vijaya Diagnostics, was one of those small cap names that has outperformed even after the index has corrected from its peak. And of course, there are names like Sham Metallics is down 4%. KFin Technologies is also at the lowest point of the day, 6.5% lower on KFin Technologies as well. So if there are gainers in the broader markets, it's not as if there is no dearth of any losers. There are plenty on the downside as well. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Midcap Radar. From Mangalam, me and the team that put this show together, thank you so much for watching. MF Corner on the other side.